Hi guys, what's up? I am Zura and today we are going to review the Obj257. Yes, just before beginning this review I want to greet Addobatore for leading us this fantastic replay in Sand River. Just before seeing how the Obj257 Tier 9 heavy Russian tank performs on Sand River, we are going to see how it stacks in comparison to the other brothers of his class of the same nation, just because everybody knows that the Russian army is really crowded in heavy tank, and even at tier 9 we have four different choices, four different super Russian monsters. Okay, Obj257, T10, STI or ST1, don't know, probably ST1, and Obj705. Okay, Obj257 now have replaced the T10 just because Wargaming decided that for coherence, the line that lead to I7 is better to have a tier 9 Obj257 instead of T10. Just because IS3, 257 and IS7 are tank that play really well face-hugging the enemy, while T10 is just a little bit different because it's less armored but more fast and agile. So Wargaming decided to create another branch, a split one, another branch for T10 and Obj257. Okay, we can see that concerning DPM, those tanks are pretty close one to the other. T10 has the best DPM. Probably we can add the WZ1114 that is really close in play style to these other two tanks, but no, not necessary. Okay, DPM is quite the same. Okay, a little advantage for T10, and then we have Obj257. The penetration of the Obj257 drop a little bit behind T10 and STI just because probably I believe that is something concerning balancing. The same alpha damage for this tank, and Obj705 has a better, a different and bigger gun, 130mm. But everybody knows that we can play Obj705 with the same gun of Obj257, so the comparison works better. Immediately we can see that the shell velocity of the Obj257 is amazing, just because this tank is equipped with APCR round as a standard and the terrible hit round with higher penetration 315 as a premium round. So I can say that the firepower of the Obj257 is not bad at all, and it is not worse in comparison to T10 and STI, just because the shell velocity, in my opinion, it's really important. So a little bit less penetration, a little bit less DPM, but the firepower of the 257 is on par with T10, and a little bit better than STI, and a little bit worse than 705 with a small gun. Yes, because 705 with the same gun of 257 has a little advantage in DPM. Now let's go and check the gun handling. The gun handling of the T10 is the best among those tanks. Sensible, better than 257, lesser aim time, lesser dispersion, and most of all, lesser dispersion while turning the turret. These values are not bad at all. Look at STI or STI1 that has horrible dispersion, but the playstyle of STI is different, and this value doesn't hinder too much this tank. And then Obj705 that has almost the same value of 257, the same gun and the same gun handling. The worst side of the gun handling on 257 is the gun depression, because with only 5 degrees, versatility in using the gun is really compromised. This tank plays in the same way that IS-3 and IS-7. It prefers to play and fight on flat ground, just because 5 degrees of gun depression are not enough to go hull down or to try to find the right position while trying to shoot enemies if there are hills, rolling hills, and so on. But the gun handling, it's okay. T10, the best gun handling amongst those 4 tanks. Then we have Obj257, not bad at all. For what concerns mobility, here we have very nice news, because Obj257 that was placed in the same slot of T10 has a different role. 257, it was placed just because he has to be tougher than T10. So the mobility of the T10, that is the best among probably all the tier 9 heavy tank, have to be better than 257. But looking at this value, I read the same forward speed, the same reverse, power weight ratio a little advantage for 257, but terrain resistance is probably bring the situation on par. And the traverse of 257 is not bad at all. Those 2 tanks has the same mobility. So Wargaming replaced T10 with a tank that has more armor, that is supposed to have more armor, but less mobility. And now I read almost the same DPM, same firepower. The gun handling is pretty damn close to T10. The mobility is the same, or probably just a little bit a tad better while turning the tank. And the armor value of the 257 is pretty damn good. 130 in the front, 130 in the side, and a pretty sick turret with better health. T10, what's going on, my dear T10? T10 is one of the best tier 9 heavy tank. Agile, fast, strong punch, good view range, and so low profile. But 257 seems to have the same characteristic, and he has a little plus. 257 has tons of armor on paper. Now we are going to check the layout, the armor layout. Okay, view range a little bit worse than T10, but it's okay. It's okay, standard. And fire chance, it's okay. Now, suggested equipment, rammer ventilation, and vertical stabilizer to maximize. Of course, the view range cannot reach 450 meters, 445, but this tank is supposed to shorten distance with the enemy and goes as close as possible to use his fantastic gun and his pretty tough armor. Okay, gun depression 5 degrees all around. Beware at the back because you have only 4 degrees. And now let's go and check the armor layout. But the first thing that I'm saying that Obj257 has a very strange V-shaped hull. Something that looks like Obj907. Okay, this tank was sleeping inside the client for almost 2 years. You can find old version of Tanks GG reporting 257 at tier 10. 2 years ago, this tank probably was supposed to be the reward of the second set of personal mission. But during the time, Wargaming probably decided to bring into battle and to use like a tier 9. So decided to tune the values a little bit, lower the gun and so on. But the tank is unchanged. And he brings on the battlefield the same sick armor. Look at the frontal armor of this tank. It's really, really, really well shaped. The V shape and the arrow point of the frontal plate resembles IS-7 and IS-3, but here we have very different value compared to 200 millimeters of the IS-3. Probably this upper plate is closer, very close to the IS-7, and the lower plate is smaller probably than the IS-7. It's not thick like the upper plate because the angle is different, but we have a very nice pike nose. And look, if the point of the nose is directly pointed towards the enemy, this tank can count on roughly 240-ish armor in every point of the front, just because the pike nose has this type of characteristic. Now let's check the turret. All the turret armor is pretty sick. Nobody can go through this armor. The weak spot are the two cupolas, but beware, these cupolas are not so tall and not so easy to shoot from distance. Of course, this tank is supposed to go in close combat, so I suggest you to shoot at this tank on the cupolas and on the roof, because there's a huge hole on the roof at the same way of the IS-3. With only 30 millimeters of armor, of roof armor, this cyan, this colored cyan part can be outmatched by 90 millimeters or more guns. So probably every tank that you are going to match from tier 7 to up to tier 10 can go through this plate reliably using the 3 caliber rules. And in the same way, even this neck, the roof of the engine deck is 30 millimeters thick. So this is the very nasty weak spot of this tank. But beware, if the tank succeeded in using his 5 degrees of gun depression and tries something, I can say hull down, because with 5 degrees you can go hull down, but just in this way, using 5 degrees of gun depression, cupola are very thin, the roof is not possible to shoot at, and we have 320. Just pay attention to cover your lower plate, and probably you're going to face a fucking well armored monster. Well, side armor now, yes, just because the side armor of this tank is the secret weapon of the tank. If you play the tank at 45 degrees, look what is happening. All the side it's auto bounce, just because the V shape can. And look at the side. Sometimes happens that you try to shoot at 257 and your round goes on the lower part. No way. You can go through this fucking sick V-hull armor. The weak spot is the upper part. There's also a stripe of spaced armor that runs along the tank and is 30 millimeters thick, in like IS-3 side spaced armor. This tank is pretty good, well armored. You can play this tank inside scraping in this way. Of course, this cheek becomes a weak spot, but it's a pretty tough weak spot. 250 millimeters cover the tank behind the building, and this is the only weak spot. Probably your enemy need premium round. Even a tier 10 standard heavy is compelled to go with premium round, otherwise can go through this side of the upper plate. And if you are using reverse side scraping, this tank shines at the best. Yes, just because using reverse side scraping in this way, this tank is probably one of the worst beasts that you can face in World of Tank. Probably almost nothing can go through this armor. Okay, this is the correct way to side scrape, because you can try to shoot at the cupola and no more. All the other part of the tank is completely out of bounds. This armor is sick. And if you over angle, don't worry. Look, I'm over-angling 270 to 300. You you don't risk to make many mistakes, even if you are not so practiced in side scraping. You can over-angle, and okay, this is the worst that you can do. Give completely the side of the tank. You have this stripe that goes from 260 to 230, and the lower part is out of bounds. Okay, stop blabbering about armor, about the fantastic armor of 257. Let's go and see how Adobatore works on Sand River. Just the map a little bit bigger, and let's fasten the replay. Okay, this is a nice matchup for Adobatore that is playing top tier. But this map is pretty tricky for 257 just because there are a lot of dunes and rolling hills. It's almost impossible to find a flat ground. It's almost impossible to use side scraping or reverse side scraping. So probably we are going to see the object 257 in the worst environment possible. Yes. Okay. Let's go into the battle at top speed. This position is not bad at all, just because the armor of 257 is unbelievable, and Adobatore is crossing, giving the side bouncing, giving the side with no problem to those guys, and punching to them with the monster gun of 257. Okay. This is the beginning. The armor of this tank is sick. And probably Adobatore, that has two marks on the gun, knows how to use 257 and is pretty sure that crossing, giving the side, means probably bounce something, just because not all the enemy. Now, one round inside. Okay, this is the right way to face 257. Always try to shoot at the most flat surface that object 257 is showing to you. Now at 45 degrees the most flat surface is this one, and this one is the weak spot. Don't shoot lower plate, don't shoot the other side, don't shoot the side, don't shoot at the turret, only shoot at the most flat surface. If 257 give you the side, remember, try to shoot the upper part of the tank and not the lower. Never shoot the tracks and the lower part, because you can damage this tank on side. And if the tanks turn on this side, this is the most flat part. Beware at the butt. Beware at the back of the tank, just because there are these two chicks that are pretty nasty, well armored. So remember, only if you met 257 in this position, shoot here, not here, not here, not here, not here, in this most flat surface or at the back of the turret. Okay, let's go. Centurion Action X, a really good tank in Yule Down, but now is fighting against a real monster. Probably here Adobatore took more round than necessary, because he tried to make a lot of pressure to the enemies, and probably received a couple of shots more than necessary. If he was more cautious, probably he could spare 400 damage that took from Centurion Action X. And now is heading towards the enemy camp. I'm going to fasten the replay. It seems that only, ooh la la, not only one tank destroyer, but even the IS is guarding the cap. But from behind comes T10. The brother, the Russian brother, the sneaky, lower profile and super good T10. But the side armor of the T10 is not like 257. you can see Adobatore now is receiving a bonus of 3 damage on the T10. Even the frontal armor, even the lower plate is not the same like 257. I believe that Wargaming have placed at tier 9 an heavy tank that is better than the fantastic T10 and probably better than all the other tier 9 heavy tanks in World of Tanks. I have troubles, I have problems in finding someone that can challenge the pure brutality, the pure armor, the gun of 257 at tier 9. Even E75 9 at the same time the slaughter of Adobatore is going on, as now is punching through a poor Comet that at tier 7 stand no chance of damaging 257 anyway. No matter what, you can go with premium round, you can drone with a tier 7 Comet everything you have inside your ammo rack, but 257 probably don't feel nothing at all. This tank is too powerful. Very, very small weak spot. Nice gun, nice mobility, monster armor. Probably the only tank that has some chance in fighting 257 is the Conqueror. There is a hull down specialist with a superior gun and a very, very good armor in hull down. Otherwise, look at this one. He's receiving shot from the side, shot from the back, 3 tanks all around. He can do whatever he wants. No one of these guys can go through, because probably this guy don't know very well the armor layout of the 257. Look, another bounce from the side. The Comet is trying to shoot in every place, but he's using standard round. So it's so stupid. This tank, it's so stupid. I love 257, but it's not correct. It's not okay. My dear Wargaming, this tank is fantastic. Okay, but probably is a bit too much. It's a bit too much because it's more than mindless. It's more than Defender. Well, I remember where Defender the premium tier 8 Russian tank comes into World of Tanks, and a lot of people scream, "Oh my god, it's too overpowered." That is true. Defender is overpowered, but the armor of the Defender is 50% of this one. This one is a real beast. The V-shaped hull give you the possibility to fight in the middle of many enemies without a problem. If the enemies are 1 or 2 tier lower than you, you can slaughter all. Only tier 8 plus gun can have a chance to damage Obj257, even in the butt. Okay, now I'm fastening other bounces. I'm fastening the replay just because Adobatore was left together with 2 fast tank. And here it comes, the funniest part, just because this tank is mobile. It's not a super slow, sluggish Mausian VK4502. Okay, the Comet got killed at the end. Adobatore decided to go in the cap and close this battle just because he have done more than 6,000 damage. 6 kill probably enough. It's not needed to go around and try to run and follow Lorraine. Okay, Lorraine is a really fast tank, so there's no chance that Adobatore can catch Lorraine. But okay, this is Object 257. We are waiting the end of the battle to say something about conclusion conclusion concerning Object 257, but probably most of you knows what we are talking about. Okay, Lorraine is coming to reset the cap and bounce and die and bounce. APCR 263 millimeters of penetration, the very nice gun. It's not enough to damage our beloved 257. Okay, mastery mark, a lot of minor medals. Then we have cool edit, a lot of ricochet. Survived 10 ricochet with no penetration in a row. Okay, steel wall, of course, high caliber, of course, top cam. Very well played by Adobatore. Aggressive, brutal, face hugging, 45 degrees. 24 shots, 21 on target, and 19 penetration. Even a small amount of credit. Okay, we have reached the end of this review. Is this one good or not? Is Object 257 good or not? Oh my god! Probably the best tier 9 heavy tank in World of Tanks, together with Conqueror. Probably someone can say that this one is better than IS-7, but I'm not saying that Object 257 is better than IF-7. But probably it goes really close to be better than IS-7. Okay, your Zura greets you, give you appointment at the next one here on YouTube. Don't forget to leave a thumb up if you have enjoyed the review, or a thumbs down, and leave a comment to give me the possibility to do better the next time. I know that my English sucks. I from time to time try to make other English review because there are a few number of you guys that are asking me, Zura, keep going with the English review. It's really painful for me to find words and try to go on with this type of review, but I'm trying to do my best. See you next time.